WINN FM's news team interviewed commercial pilot Tedriel Warde as part of an in-depth series of articles highlighting the impact of COVID on local businesses.
Good afternoon, my name is Tedriel Warde. I reside in Keon, in St. Kitts, and I'm a first officer for Air Sunshine, who is based currently in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. In the initial lockdown in March of 2020, we were grounded as local pilots. Well, everybody was grounded, and we had several meetings with the task force in the mid of last year, around June, July of last year, where we presented protocols to see how we could resume operations. To this day, we haven't received any positive word from them on how they would work alongside us to ensure that we could safely work. Permanent Secretary Wendy Phipps, in her response to the question that I think Freedom FM posted, she said that they didn't have any updated protocols from us.
On the issue of the pilots, I would have checked with the chairperson of the COVID-19 task force, Mr. Abdias Samuel, and he has confirmed that there is no recent proposal from local pilots before the task force. Having said that, there would have been a proposal that would have been received by the task force many, many moons ago, at a time when we weren't even at the point of having vaccination. And the gist of that proposal, if I recall correctly, even at the point when we were still in the middle of a 14-day quarantine, etc., was that the pilots wanted the ability to not quarantine, come off a flight, walk all over the place, do whatever they had to do. There was no concept of a bubble even then for them. And of course, that could not have been countenanced by the task force.
The protocols haven't changed per se, only with respect now to the rollout of the vaccine. We are fully vaccinated. All of our pilots are fully vaccinated. Last year when we met, it was a 14-day quarantine for any inbound passengers. And if that be the case, we will have to quarantine on every re-entry, then we would only be able to work 2 days a month. Personally, my passion is to fly. I went to school, I studied, I got my degree, spent over $60,000 to be in the air. That's my passion. So, if you're not mentally strong, depression would take you over. St. Kitts is the only country in the region, and I would say in the world, who has these restrictions on locally based pilots. And when I say locally based, I think the situation is as such because we don't have a local airline here, like Antigua, who has LIAT, or Anguilla, who has Trans-Anguilla and Anguilla Air Services. St. Kitts doesn't have a locally based airline. Air Sunshine ended up here in St. Kitts Nevis after Irma destroyed Tortola. So we've been here for about 4 to 5 years, but we're not owned by the St. Kitts government. We just operate out of St. Kitts and Nevis. None of these other islands restrict crew to quarantine. But if we're leaving from here and I go to Anguilla and I come back, I don't see the need to quarantine me. I'm not even getting off the aircraft. We sent an email to the task force last week, Tuesday. We haven't had any word from them as yet. I tried calling the CMO, Dr. Hazel Laws, 2 times today. She didn't answer my phone calls. I'm going to probably send a follow-up email maybe later this evening, or even try to leave a voicemail and see if she would respond. I would like them to make a decision. As I told you earlier, we're not trying to be rogue pilots. We don't want to just leave from here, come back, and make it seem like we're not adhering to any protocols. We just want the task force to work alongside us and say, hey, okay, these are your protocols for operation. Let's see how we could tweak them so both of us could be comfortable. Give us some guidelines to follow.
Are you a local business? How are you surviving the pandemic? WINN Media wants to know.